Hey, it's me. Growth is life. Without it, nothing truly lives. It isn't just about physical growth, it's about the deeper inner growth of the soul. Growth happens in different ways, at different times, and sometimes we don't even realize we're growing until we look back and see how far we've come. But if growth ever stops in any part of our life, that part starts to fade. Now, the good news is that deep inside, our spirit is eternal. It's meant to grow, expand, and evolve. If it ever feels stuck, it's not because it's died, but because it's been blocked. When we let that blockage go, life begins to flow again. We talked a lot about life, what it means, how it works, and how we experience it. Each time we revisit this topic, kind of approach it from a new angle. And that's because as we grow, we see things differently. It's kind of like reading a book at different stages of your life. What once seemed like simple words now may carry a deeper meaning. The same happens on this journey of self-discovery. As you continue to look within, new insights will click, and what once felt abstract will suddenly feel real. This is why revisiting the same truths again and again is not repetition, it's more deepening. Sometimes people think they're growing, but they're actually just going in circles. They're going through the motions when deep down they know something isn't quite right. On the other hand, real growth doesn't always feel like progress. In fact, it often feels discouraging, especially at first. It could seem like you keep running into the same patterns, the same struggles, the same limiting beliefs. But each time you revisit them, you're seeing them from a new perspective, understanding them a little bit more, untangling another layer. Growth isn't a straight path. It's more like a spiral. You keep circling back, and each time you go deeper. And by doing so, evolve upwards, spiraling upwards. Think of it like climbing a mountain. From a distance, the path looks like it loops around, but with each turn, you're actually climbing higher. At some point, after enough spirals, you reach the core of the issue, the root of your struggles. And when you do, everything changes. That's when you finally break free. So, how do we know if we're growing or just spinning in circles? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Real growth, even when it's hard, brings moments of clarity, lightness, and inner peace. Even if those moments are brief, they remind you that you are indeed moving forward. Now, let's look at life from another angle. Life is movement. Life is growth. Life is awareness. And these are not separate things. They're all part of the same whole. Just like a business or a team needs different people working together to function, life needs all of these elements in sync. The same way a body needs its heart, lungs, and brain to work in harmony, our inner life also depends on different aspects working together: our mind, emotions, and spirit. When any part of the system gets blocked, we don't feel fully alive. If you look at nature, you'll see this in action. A rock barely moves because it has very little awareness. A plant has more awareness, bends towards the sun, reacts to water and seasons. An animal, even more so. It feels emotions, learns, and interacts with its environment. And then there's us, humans. Our movement isn't just physical. It's mental, emotional, and spiritual. We have the power to expand our awareness, to think, to feel, to love, to create. That's what makes us alive. When we start to truly understand this, the idea that life just ends makes no sense. Awareness doesn't just disappear. Growth doesn't just stop. Life continues in ways we can't always see. So, what does it take to fully experience life? 3 things: determination, awareness, and love. These 3 are deeply connected. The more clearly we see the truth, the more power we have to make choices, and the more open our hearts become. Awareness is about seeing reality for what it is, not through the lens of past wounds or fears. Determination is our ability to act from that awareness, rather than being controlled by old patterns. And love is what flows naturally when we are free from fear and distortion. If we misunderstand our past, we carry those misconceptions into our present. We react to situations based on old wounds instead of what's really happening. That limits our choices, our freedom, and our ability to love. It's like seeing life through a dirty window. Everything is distorted. Only by cleaning the glass, by facing our past, healing, and seeing things clearly, can we truly experience life as it is. Many spiritual teachings talk about the importance of love, and they're right. But love can't fully take root in a heart that's clouded by fear, insecurity, and unhealed pain. No amount of knowledge or external wisdom can replace the deep inner work of self-discovery. True growth happens when we stop running from ourselves and start facing what's inside. Let's look at love for a moment. Love exists on many levels. At the lowest level, people attach to objects, things that don't challenge them, that don't require emotional vulnerability. A step above that is love for ideas, for art, for nature, things that inspire but don't require personal risk. Then comes love for animals, which teaches care and responsibility, but doesn't quite carry the depth of human connection. And above that is love for humanity as a whole, a beautiful but often impersonal love. And at the highest level is deep, personal, intimate love, the kind that requires vulnerability, courage, and growth. Many people avoid deep personal love because it brings up fears and insecurities. It requires honesty. It challenges them to see their own reflection in another. This is why people sometimes claim to love humanity while struggling to love an individual. It feels safer. But real love, the kind that transforms us, requires us to be seen, to open, to grow. Now, some might say, but what about love for God? Isn't that the highest form of love? And I would say it depends. If love for God is just an idea, something abstract that doesn't change how we treat others, then is that truly love or just a belief? Whereas if love for God shows up in how we love people, how we meet them with compassion, how we face our own fears and learn to forgive, then I'd say yes, that is true love. Real love isn't about escaping reality. It's about being fully in it with an open heart. There are people who live quiet, peaceful lives doing good for others, avoiding deep personal relationships. And then there are people whose relationships are messy and full of struggle. From the outside, it might seem like the peaceful person is more evolved. But growth doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in the places where we are most challenged. Even the messiest relationships can be great teachers if we're willing to learn. So I encourage you to ask yourself 3 questions. Where am I resisting growth? Where do I avoid love because it feels too vulnerable? What patterns from my past are shaping my present? Facing yourself in this way isn't easy, but it's the only way to feel truly alive. Many people go through life searching for security, trying to control things outside of themselves to feel safe. Real security doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. It comes from knowing yourself so deeply that no external situation can shake your foundation. The world tells us to find safety in money, relationships, status, but none of those things last forever. The only real security is in self-awareness. It's in knowing that no matter what happens, you are grounded in truth, love, and resilience. So I want to leave you with this. Don't run from yourself. Don't settle for a half-lived life. The answers you seek are not out there. They've been inside you all along.